I'm in the middle of the ocean, southeast of Nassau, Bahamas. Check out this blue hole. I'm Jimmy Jam, and this is Outdoors and Barbecue.
Hello? What's the password? No.
I'm traveling from my home in Dallas, Texas to the beautiful islands of the Bahamas. Just a short flight away, the Bahamas is a great destination for beautiful beaches and pristine ocean visibility. The capital of the Bahamas is Nassau, and it's a great destination in and of itself, but it's also a hub for various cruise lines. I've come here to get on Blackbeards liveaboards, which is, I think, one of the best deals for scuba divers. After getting checked in, I put away all my gear and I set up my dive equipment for the journey ahead. We then have a briefing from Captain Red and the crew, and we set out for the Exuma Islands, which is southeast of Nassau. In this video, I'm going to talk about 3 dive sites. Blue Hole is a marine cavern or sinkhole, Barracuda Shoals is an amazing group of coral heads, and the washing machine is a crazy drift dive. Blue Hole in the Bahamas is a relatively small sinkhole, and it's an easy dive site because the mouth of it sits at 30 feet underwater and it's virtually impossible to get lost. Blue holes, by definition, are large marine sinkholes, and they're usually situated in carbonate bedrock, which is like limestone or coral reef. The attraction of a blue hole is usually the spectacle of the blue hole itself. It's like a wall dive that goes around in a circle, but you can expect to see sharks and stingrays from time to time. It's hard to tell in the video, but this southern stingray had a wingspan of about 4 feet long. And it was super calm. It hardly moved as I got close, making it easy to get a great shot. After taking in all the scenery, my dive buddy and I decided to make the Blue Hole our personal playground, and it was a lot of fun. If you've never been scuba diving before, you should do yourself the favor of starting your certification process today, because scuba diving is one of the most relaxing and funnest of hobbies that you can have. We're getting a little tour because we're in Nassau. When you're in Nassau, you got to do the Nassau thing. So there we go, John Watling's Distillery.
As you look down and to your right, you can see the aging happening right in front of you. Each of those white American oak casks filled with a bit of our John Watling spirit on the inside.
This thing right here, you can like stick your nose up to it. You see all the people that have done that already. That's nasty, so you don't want to touch that.
Ending at 6 years. As you look down in front of you on the stainless steel table, this is where the
Barracuda Shoals is perhaps the best example of a pristine Bahamas coral reef in shallow water. Like many marine animal enthusiasts, I really love the large stuff, whether it's sharks, manta rays, or whales, or stingrays, or anything else that's really big. I love it. But outside these really big creatures, I've really grown to adore the tiny stuff. And the reason why is because so many of them are just so beautiful. Even something as small as a grain of rice can be just as elaborate and beautiful as a Picasso painting. Take for example these nudibranchs. They're called a red-tipped sea goddess and they're tiny. See if you can spot them on the black sponge. They like to hide in the little holes and allow their gills to sift the oxygen from the current passing by. Whenever I find these tiny creatures, I just sit in awe at the grand designer who created them, and it makes me really thankful just to be able to swim through a reef and observe the masterpiece of nature. And as I was swimming through the reef, I got to thinking about David Attenborough, and I could hear his voice in my head, and I thought, you know, I really want to be just like him when I grow up.
A southern stingray on the hunt, going through the reef looking for something nice to eat. Also in the reef, a yellow-headed jawfish, one of the chickens of the reef. The stingray sees it in the distance, and the yellow-headed jawfish, he sees the stingray. He's a wary little guy, and he retreats into his hole. As the stingray swims by, the yellow-headed jawfish peers at him. Stingray, closing in, finds his prey and munches it. But fortunate for yellow-headed jawfish, the stingray isn't interested in fish. It eats mollusks and clams and the like. So the yellow-headed jawfish can live to see another day. Oh, isn't that nice?
Be sure to check out argosadventures.com for some great deals in scuba diving travel. On our way to the last dive site in this video, Captain Red stopped at this secluded beach. I told you at the beginning that Blackbeards is one of the best deals for scuba divers, and the reason why is they give you so many different experiences and adventures. In addition, you get to meet a lot of great people. The washing machine is the craziest drift dive I've ever been on. You start out by all entering at the same time. You swim, you drift, you go through a spin cycle, and you hope at the end that you still have all your teeth. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more outdoors and barbecue. We'll see you next time.